Okay, I apologize for the technical difficulties producing a two-part video, but the timer that just went off meant that I have to fold over this dough, this bread that I'm making for that private event tomorrow night. Well, I got dough on my fingers again. It's actually quite tasty. Point is, the dough needs to be folded over in a, well, after this video. You'll have to wait, sweetie. Sorry. Okay, at any rate, this Washington State wine actually comes from right over the Columbia River in the Rocks District, which is part of the Walla Walla appellation. And it is beautiful wine from Cayuse, so it is almost certainly going to be shown next Tuesday. Almost certainly, because I'm bound to change my mind. I might try a wine with the vendor even later today. This being what, Thursday? There is still room for a change for the menu next week. It's already happened. I had a Brunello di Montalcino. Brunello di Montalcino, 100% Sangiovese from Tuscany, the greatest Sangiovese in the world, some people would argue. I had one picked out. I have just, as of yesterday, trying the new 2016 Colle Matone. I'm going to do that one instead of La Racina. They're both great. One is more fruit forward, one is more traditional. We're going to go for tradition. Benchmark Wines of the World. Folks, there are seats available for next Wednesday night. Sign up now at thewinesteward.com and order a cheese and meat platter because these wines will want some food. They will be even better if you include some food. All right, what I want to tell you about really quickly now, because you've been patient and I've been rambling, are the wines that are on our wine bar flight for this weekend. Yes, that fourth or third or second business of ours. Now we are back to all five of our businesses, and the wine bar is certainly one of them. You can come upstairs and be with us, and you can be out front and be with us. Depends on the weather, whatever you feel like. You want to be out there in the wind and the sun, and that's fine. But we want you here one way or the other. Let's tell you that our sparkling wine is going to be something called Zect. And I'm going to have some Zect. No, I've already said that about 20 times. At any rate, this is the sparkling wine of the week. And I won't drink it all, I promise. Man, I love that nose. It's really fascinating. Anyway, sparkling wine of the week on the menu. Wine number one. Wine number two. Ding ding. We're going to do a Sauvignon Blanc from the Southern Hemisphere. Where would you expect that to be from? New Zealand, right? No, not this time. In fact, this is probably the first Australian Sauvignon Blanc we've carried in a long time. This comes from the Limestone Coast, which is southeastern South Australia, right near Victoria. And let's see what happens. This is going to be the zingy, like I think it's going to warm up a little bit this weekend, so we're going to want like a high acid, vibrant white wine in our glasses, right? Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I'm smelling something like New Zealand Sauv Blanc going on here, but there's a little more body. You can perceive body even in the nose sometimes. It's just a little more weight to it. But there is the signature gooseberry and pink grapefruit quality of a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. The Kiwis are getting offended right now because I'm using them as a comparison, but I'm sure the Aussies are getting offended too. I think there should be a treaty, like Australia should never be allowed to make Sauvignon Blanc, and the Kiwis should never be allowed to make Shiraz. But anyway, all bets are off, and I'm glad they are because this is wonderful. It's a brand new 2020. Burton Vineyards. Never heard of it before. Tasted it with a rep 2 weeks ago. I said, boom, people are going to like this, especially when the day is hot. Interesting looking kind of blue-green glass going on there. You see that? That's cool. Anyway, that's the white wine of the week, crispy white. I am very, very excited about the rosé we're putting in front of you for the rosé of the week. As you know, we do a different pink wine, dry pink wine, every weekend on the wine bar menu. And this is high season for new ones coming in. This just got here. Our Kermit Lynch wine rep came, Daniel Madera visited us last week and said, not all of our rosés are in yet. We're still waiting for those boats, and those boats have been a pain in everybody's butt this year. But Tavel is here. It's kind of an unusual name. The producer is Chateau de Troncavadel. And Tavel, you see the big bold type? This is a traditional French label that devotes its largest font to the region, to where the wine actually comes from. Tavel, T-A-V-E-L, that wine region is right across the Rhone River from Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And the interesting thing about Tavel, besides how good the wine tastes, is that you cannot make white Tavel. You cannot make red Tavel. Tavel has to be pink. It's an exclusively pink wine region. I think perhaps the only one in the entire world. That's pretty cool, isn't it? This Tavel is one that we have carried for many, many years, and I'm so glad to have the fresh 2020 here. Now, you may be able to tell by the color that this is a little bit different from the Provence rosés that we often show you. Remember last week I was talking about the Provence rosé that we were putting on the menu having the qualities of barely there-ness. In other words, it's like the smallest bikini somebody could wear without revealing things. Well, this wine is meant to be a little more bodacious. A Rhone rosé, where it's a little warmer. We're still in Provence, but we're northern Provence. It gets hotter here. We're a little farther inland from the Mediterranean. That heat creates a riper grape, riper flavors, and even though there's some white varieties actually included here, just to add some levity, we do expect from Tavel, from an honest-to-goodness Tavel, a little more weight and color and flavor. This is not barely there, this is there. It's gorgeous Tavel. Tavel is a nice crossover wine. I could sip this nice and cold on a hot summer day. What I'd rather do with it is include cold meats with it, like cold sliced pork, turkey sandwich even, salade niçoise, tuna, even grilled tuna would be amazing with this Tavel. Get into this. This is now here. We brought in 3 cases. It's on the wine bar menu. I'm so glad to see this beautiful label back in our store. So those are the 3 other wines on the list. We are doing a flight of 5 South of France Reds. 5 South of France Reds is the flight this week. You can have any one of these by the glass, or you can have the flight of 2-ounce pours. Grenache and Syrah. What do we expect from the South of France? And by the way, the South of France in this case omits the Rhone. We do so much with the Rhone that we're skipping the Rhone this time. We're going entirely over to the Languedoc-Roussillon area. So, there's a map over here. I don't know how well this is. This whole thing over here, that's the Languedoc-Roussillon area. Lots of stuff. And in fact, makes a lot of cheap wine, and that used to get the term, or kind of the pejorative term, the wine lake. And because it produces a lot of jug wine. Well, now it produces a lot of really good wine too, because they got the right dirt and the right climate, and all they needed was the right winemaking mindset to actually make fine wine here, and now they do. So those are the kinds of wines we're going to do from the Languedoc-Roussillon. They're all reds, they're all flavorful. The main grapes going on down here, what we will most often see planted for serious wine are Carignan, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, a few other players, but those are the main guys. This is Grenache and Syrah that's going to happen for you. This is a little maverick wine. This is from Mataran. So Mataran in the southwest of France is an area that specializes in a grape called Tannat. This might frighten some of you. I hope you will order a cheese platter and it'll help resolve this wine. What they resolve this wine with in the local region of Mataran is foie gras or cassoulet. In other words, you need some protein with this tannic wine, but we're doing it because you should know about it. This wine comes from Collioure. Yeah, Collioure. Collioure is the name of a place. Collioure is the name of when you get grape shatter, and you don't when you're growing a grape, and not every berry on the cluster is properly fertilized, and so it remains a BB rather than growing into a full-size grape. That is the viticultural issue called Collioure. Well, this is Collioure. It sounded the same, didn't it? At any rate, it's good. This is another Kermit Lynch wine that we just brought in. Having talked about it, I must have it because I dearly love this wine. It's 80% Grenache, and then the other 3 players, about 7% each, Carignan, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. That's freaking pretty. Daniel knew I would like this when he opened it. Here's another wine, same idea. another red, and then finally our Capital. This is Maste Capital. At any rate, let's go to the south of France together. Might be still kind of hard to fly there, but we can take you there with a flight. And boy, it's been a long one. In fact, so long that we had to do it in 2 parts, but I'm grateful for everything you guys are doing with us, for supporting our 5 businesses, if you will. I'm making bread, I am doing events again. I'm back in the saddle. I really feel like we are the wine steward in all the ways we know how to be it, finally, and it feels good. So pardon my celebrating and having Zect with you. Come on upstairs and let's have Zect, or we could have Zect out on the sidewalk. And boy, that's about it. That's it for Zect. Thank you. I'm gonna sign off now, work on my bread dough, and have Zect.